It's like Justin Baldoni saying, I'd love to work with Blake again.
Ooh, and even the audience is like laughing, but like, should we laugh at this given what you did last week?
Blake Lively has captured everyone's attention, but this time, it's not for a blockbuster role or a stunning red carpet moment. Word is spreading that she's filing an $80 million lawsuit against Saturday Night Live after an on-air incident left her feeling exposed in front of millions. How did a single comedy sketch escalate into a high-stakes legal showdown with one of television's most iconic institutions? And what does this battle reveal about the lengths celebrities will go to protect their image? Let's dive into the shocking chain of events behind this dramatic clash between Blake and SNL.
To me, this shows SNL playing its cards of, they're clearly, they know Blake Lively is crazy.
Today's story centers around an unexpected controversy involving Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and a jaw-dropping moment on live television. What started as a seemingly harmless joke spiraled into a public relations nightmare and a legal firestorm. Once seen as one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, Blake and Ryan suddenly found themselves at the center of a scandal, fighting to control the narrative after an on-air jab left them humiliated. Let's break down how it all unfolded.
And given the appearance, she's gonna have the same reaction of, wait a second, why are you making fun of me? I thought you had our backs there in live. What's going on?
Not long ago, Saturday Night Live aired a segment that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. During the show, Colin Jost casually dropped a remark that struck a nerve with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. What was once just a quiet legal battle, rumored to be worth hundreds of millions, was suddenly thrust into the mainstream spotlight. Social media exploded with speculation about Blake's lawsuit, Ryan's involvement, and whispers of behind-the-scenes drama that had been brewing for months.
And then we've also got this story, Justin Baldoni. Now, as you know, these jokes are written like sometimes up until the minute.
Simple. Ryan Reynolds made a surprise appearance on SNL, just as he and Blake Lively were already under scrutiny. Rumors had been swirling about their relationship, fueled by speculation involving another celebrity, Justin Baldoni, who allegedly had a complicated history with Blake. Right in the middle of it all, Ryan joined a comedy bit, thinking a light-hearted cameo would be harmless. But when a fellow cast member jokingly asked, "Hey Ryan, how's it going?" his off-the-cuff response suggested there was more to the rumors than anyone realized. The audience laughed, but also sensed something real lurking beneath the surface.
Who else has a question?
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds. Hey. How's it going?
Great. All right, what have you heard?
Enter Colin Jost, whose off-the-cuff yet likely well-planned joke took a sharp turn toward controversy. What started as a quip about Justin Baldoni wanting to work with Blake Lively again quickly morphed into a biting political analogy before flipping the spotlight onto Blake herself. The punchline was brief, but it hit hard, leaving many wondering if SNL had just taken a calculated risk with one of Hollywood's biggest stars.
Colin is now married to Scarlett Johansson, who Ryan Reynolds allegedly, the rumors are, cheated on her with Blake Lively.
As the moment unfolded, some online voices pointed out an intriguing connection. Colin Jost is married to Scarlett Johansson, one of Ryan Reynolds' most famous exes. That fact alone added another layer of tension. Whether the joke was meant as a light-hearted jab or a personal dig, the audience felt the weight of it. Within minutes, the internet erupted. Hollywood relationships have always been prime gossip material, and this unexpected twist gave people plenty to dissect.
What? Listen to Colin crack even before he says it, because he knows this is going to get me in trouble.
Which is like Justin Baldoni saying, I'd love to work with Blake again.
News outlets and fans latched onto that fleeting moment, turning it into a media firestorm. Many believed it was a PR disaster for Blake Lively, whose carefully curated image as a relatable Hollywood sweetheart was now under attack. Almost instantly, old rumors resurfaced, headlines questioned her authenticity, and social media was flooded with memes and debates. Within 24 hours, 3.5 million people had viewed or shared clips of the joke, amplifying its impact. Industry whispers claimed Blake was panicking. This wasn't just another negative headline. It was a full-scale reputational crisis, with both her and Ryan suddenly facing intense scrutiny.
Her playing, why? Was there something wrong? Yeah, clearly, guys. The joke didn't hit.
Desperate to regain control, Blake made a bold and unexpected move. she hired Nick Shapiro, a figure rumored to have deep ties to intelligence and high-level crisis management. While Hollywood stars frequently bring in PR experts during scandals, someone with a background in intelligence operations was practically unheard of. The decision signaled just how serious, or desperate, the situation had become. But could even the most sophisticated media strategy undo the damage already done?
Why? Because, we're making light of the whole situation because it centers on your wife accusing a guy of, right? That's why it's no laughing matter. So
online commentators were quick to call out a contradiction. Blake Lively had previously criticized others, including Justin Baldoni, for using aggressive PR tactics to sway public opinion. Now, as she brought in a figure rumored to handle political-level crises, many saw it as hypocritical. The lawsuit chatter suddenly took on a new dimension. It no longer seemed just about justice, but about controlling the narrative. Headlines flooded the press with phrases like "huge win for Blake" and "judge backs Blake's legal strategy," but upon closer inspection, there was little evidence of any major courtroom victories. In fact, sources suggested that some of Blake's legal requests had been scaled back or outright rejected, despite the triumphant messaging.
Now, what's fascinating, though, is the judge denied it. The judge was like, nope, you do not have a good enough excuse.
Instead of calming the storm, each new PR move only fueled the fire. Fans began asking, if Blake's case was so strong, why did she need such extreme measures? Rumors swirled that the judge had dismissed key parts of her claims, calling them overreaching. With credibility slipping, public support started to waver. What once seemed like a clear-cut legal battle now looked more like an orchestrated campaign, one that was beginning to backfire.
Learning more about Blake, her mother, the way she is, the entitlement and selfishness and demands she needs to have in order to have authority, it doesn't surprise me that she has spun this narrative in her favor.
As the focus on Blake intensified, attention suddenly shifted to Ryan Reynolds, who found himself in a controversy of his own. An old clip resurfaced where he recounted an awkward moment of unintentionally staring at a woman breastfeeding in public. Normally, it might have been brushed off as light-hearted storytelling, but in the context of Blake's lawsuit, it struck a nerve. Her case involved accusations against James Heath for allegedly making eye contact while she was nursing. Yet here was Ryan openly admitting to extended staring and treating it as a joke. The internet erupted with accusations of double standards. If Blake saw fleeting glances as deeply violating, why was Ryan's prolonged gaze excusable? Suddenly, what had been framed as a serious legal fight was clashing with the couple's own actions, making people question whether Blake's accusations had been exaggerated. The shift in public sentiment was undeniable. Those who once supported her were now doubting everything.
This is what blew me away. When she first came out with all this, I went, what he is, and
everyone did.
Then, the dominoes began to fall. In Hollywood, image is everything, and support can vanish overnight. Instead of seeing A-list allies rally around Blake Lively, the response from her co-stars and industry peers was awkwardly muted. When asked about her, many seemed uncomfortable, offering vague statements rather than full-fledged support. One castmate from her upcoming project was directly asked, "How are you supporting her at this time?" His response? A hesitant, "It's complicated." Another high-profile colleague offered only the bare minimum of praise, seemingly more concerned with protecting the film's marketability than standing by Blake. The silence spoke volumes.
We'll do what we want because we're more powerful than you. And he finally had enough and he countersued.
Commentators quickly pointed out that this is what happens when a Hollywood star becomes a liability. No one publicly turns against them, but they quietly step away, leaving them to weather the storm alone. Media analysts recalled how other embattled celebrities had faced similar industry pivots in the past. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds tried leaning into humor, a trademark move that had always worked in his favor. But in the midst of a legal scandal, his lighthearted approach only seemed to highlight the seriousness of the accusations surrounding him and Blake. Adding to the tension, speculation swirled about Colin Jost's role in this controversy. Was his connection to Scarlett Johansson, Ryan's ex, influencing his pointed quips on SNL? Whether intentional or not, the public perception had shifted, Ryan's once beloved comedic persona wasn't charming audiences the way it used to.
Yes, she's allowed to have one, but why were you criticizing Justin? So anything Justin does is retaliation? Anytime he defends himself, it's retaliation? Nonsense. And you're telling me, Blake, you didn't leak this out?
Rather than letting the controversy fade, Blake reportedly doubled down. Instead of focusing on the legal battle itself, she engaged in a PR push that some saw as overzealous. Media outlets ran headlines declaring major victories in her lawsuit, but legal experts noted that court documents told a different story. Many of her requests had been denied or restricted. The situation began resembling past celebrity legal battles, where minor procedural updates were spun into massive wins. But the more the PR machine churned, the more the industry took notice, and not in a good way. In Hollywood, big productions rely on bankable stars with minimal baggage. If an actor's off-screen drama overshadows their projects, studios, directors, and co-stars tend to quietly distance themselves. Soon, producer chatter about Blake shifted from praise to strategic avoidance, and even some of her long-standing brand endorsements began to look uncertain.
And sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to fill.
The fallout wasn't just limited to Hollywood insiders and public perception. It reached Blake's most lucrative partnerships. Brands and advertisers that had once banked on her wholesome, relatable image were suddenly rethinking their association. In the past, she had been the face of lifestyle ventures, family-friendly marketing campaigns, and philanthropic efforts. But with legal battles and accusations of hypocrisy swirling around her, those long-standing deals were in jeopardy. Executives who had once praised her elegance and authenticity were now issuing careful, non-committal statements, signaling hesitation. Industry whispers suggested that Blake's crisis PR tactics, especially the hiring of an ex-intelligence operative, made some brands uneasy. It sent a message that this wasn't just a fleeting Hollywood controversy, but something deeper and potentially damaging. And in an industry where optics are everything, that was enough to make even veteran producers and advertisers second-guess their investments.
His job, he had blank checks to make things go away so that it didn't get to the media. Short-term rentals had featured this and said the cash has been given to both hosts and guests.
Meanwhile, the internet had turned the scandal into a full-fledged obsession. Online communities pored over every rumor, dissecting alleged emails, analyzing court filings, and debating every twist and turn in real time. What started as a legal dispute was now a full-blown social media spectacle. Some saw it as a reflection of Hollywood's deeper problems. Who gets protected, how narratives are controlled, and what happens when double standards are exposed. As the discourse intensified, industry speculation grew. Would studios and directors begin quietly distancing themselves from Blake and Ryan? In Hollywood, perception is everything. Casting decisions are often influenced by online chatter, and if a star's off-screen drama overshadows their work, projects can be restructured, marketing strategies adjusted, or in some cases, roles recast entirely.
Cathartic.
As if I'm Weasel.
Right.
So he was like, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. But you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffed.
The whole
Behind the scenes, that shift may have already begun. Reports surfaced that scripts Blake had been attached to were being re-evaluated. Some mid-budget dramas where she was once a selling point were rumored to be exploring alternative leads. While these adjustments may seem subtle, insiders know they often signal a deeper industry recalibration. For Ryan, his signature comedic approach, once his greatest asset, was now being met with skepticism. Jokes that had once been endearing now felt tone-deaf. Even his wisecracking persona in certain blockbuster roles was starting to read as deflection rather than charm. Critics pointed out that while his PR strategy had always leaned on humor, in a landscape filled with lawsuits, crisis PR hires, and serious allegations, the lines between self-aware branding and outright denial had started to blur.
Blake clearly had no idea what kind of a mess she was getting herself into.
As the controversy deepened, longtime fans began voicing concerns. On message boards and social media, some admitted they felt misled by the couple's carefully curated public image. Interviews where Blake and Ryan once spoke about family values, trust, and authenticity were now being scrutinized with fresh skepticism. The breastfeeding incident, in particular, became a focal point. If Blake was making legal claims that a fleeting glance constituted a violation, how could Ryan openly joke about prolonged staring and expect it to be brushed off? The contradiction sparked heated online debates, with some former supporters beginning to question the couple's credibility.
She can hire a PR crisis manager, that's fine, but if Justin does it, it's not to protect himself, but it's to destroy her.
As the saga dragged on, a larger discussion emerged about the nature of public feuds in modern Hollywood. When A-list celebrities, massive lawsuit figures, and scandalous rumors collide, it can fuel headlines for months. Some compared this situation to past high-profile defamation and harassment suits that captivated the world. Observers noted that every move, whether it was a strategic leak, a carefully worded press statement, or a surprise appearance on late-night TV, was part of a larger effort to shape public perception. But at the end of the day, legal experts reminded everyone that lawsuits are decided on verifiable facts, documents, testimonies, and hard evidence, not viral social media speculation. If Blake's case lacked the substance to back up the headlines, no amount of high-powered PR could change that. And if Ryan kept inadvertently fueling the rumor mill with his offhand remarks, he risked further unraveling any controlled narrative they were trying to build.